Welcome. Let's get into this. I'm going to talk about my spontaneous heart chakra opening when I was a teenager. And I'm going to talk about what led up to it, the types of meditations that kind of led up to it. I'm going to talk about the actual experience in detail. And I'm going to talk about the dangers of opening your chakras, your main chakras, and how some people try to force opening the chakras and how what kind of dangers lie in doing that. So let's get into this. Let's start at the beginning. And let's start at the beginning. What led up to my spontaneous heart opening chakra event when I was a teenager, a late teenager? Well, several things. I mean, I was involved with a cult Christian church for a lot of years as a young adult, or no, not a young adult, a young person, childhood and teen years. But I was moving away from that for a few years before this event happened. So I was already a few years out of that system. And I was watching TV one day and I saw this one monk on TV. I think it was Oprah. John Gray. He's a writer, a relationship writer about relationships, and not the best at it at all, I don't think. But anyway, John Gray, and he was a Buddhist monk for I think about 10 years or maybe 20 years, maybe 10 years. And so he's like, I had this realization when I was a monk, and I was sitting there meditating, and I was like, what am I doing here, being in this monastery, when the whole world is like suffering and I'm just sitting here in bliss where the whole world is suffering? Like, I got to go help the people. I got to go help the people, stay here or go help the people. Anyway, and he's like, so this is one simple meditation that I like to teach everybody. So he was teaching this meditation on Oprah, I do believe. So this is like many, many years, like 30 years ago or 25 years ago, or 30, something like that. And so his meditation, so this is the meditation he taught. Close your eyes, and for 10 minutes, first put your hands in the air for 1 minute, approximately 1 minute, and say to whatever God you pray to, or the cosmos, or whatever, just God, just be like, give me peace and joy and all the good things that you want. And then you hold your hands up, and when your fingers start to tingle, then you lower your hands and hold them limp at your sides. And then you say, take away my fears and my troubles, blah, blah, blah. And then when your fingers are tingling again, you lift them up again. It's about a minute up, or maybe 30 seconds up, 30 seconds down, 30 seconds up, or a minute up, a minute down. And then you put your hands up again, and you keep your eyes closed in a dark room the whole time. And you, when your fingers start to tingle again, say, give me joy, peace. When your fingers are tingling, then you put them down again. So you just repeat that back and forth. It's super simple, but it's really, really, really easy. You don't need training to be able to do it. You don't have to take a course on it. You don't need a guru. It's just a super, super simple meditation. So I would have been like 16, around there, when I started doing it. Maybe, I don't know, pretty early age. And so I was doing this meditation, and it's really cool because it's a really simple way to get your focus into the body. You're feeling the buzz sensation in your body, and it has it was a pretty cool meditation, like a pretty deep Buddhist meditation that was really simple, extremely simple, and extremely like effective to get the body buzz. Anyway, so I was doing that meditation. I was reading some stuff. I was reading, I think, the Bible. I was reading the Bible and several other things because I was kind of curious, a bit of a spiritual seeker, a very mild, very, very mild spiritual seeker at the time. And I was reading Revelation in the Bible, which is kind of wild. And my favorite book of the Bible, Ecclesiastes. So I read that several times. I think I read like 10 minutes every day. It was part of my schedule at the time. And I love that book because it's very raw and very like, it's like hard truths, the whole thing. See if I can remember parts of Ecclesiastes. What does he say? He says stuff like, what does he say? Everything is foolishness chasing the wind. I saw it wisdom. I saw it pleasure. I saw it having many kids, many wives, building kingdoms. And he's like, I've done more of that than anyone I've ever known or any king I've ever known. And it's all, at the end of the day, it's all foolishness chasing the wind. It's all useless. And he's like, even wisdom, even though I've been chasing it my whole life, it's still far, far away and unfathomable, and you can't really reach it. You can't really touch it. It's like it doesn't exist. It exists, but you can't really grasp it. As soon as you think you have it, you don't actually have it. Really interesting. Anyway, so Ecclesiastes is full of wisdom. Like, it's just amazing. Another part of it that stuck with me was, well, many parts still do to this day. One part that he said was near the end of the chapter or the book. He said, follow God when you're young. Make sure you keep God close to you when you're young and follow God and make it important in your life. Keep it important in your life, because if you put it off to when you're old, you'll lose the silver lining in the clouds. You won't see the silver lining in the clouds. Don't put it off to that stage when you're too old, because it'll be too distant from you. The connection will be too distant, and you'll lose it. You won't be able to retain it, which is interesting because they talk about that in other cultures too. I know in Hindu culture, they talk of originally when people were becoming monks, what they did was the society tried to like stop them because everyone was leaving society to become monks, and they tried to make rules about it, and they're like, okay, you can be a monk after you have kids, because they were still trying to develop the society. And everyone was just leaving society to be monks, living in the out in nature or in ashrams. But now they've changed. Obviously now they have all different systems for it. Anyway, so let's go. So this is part of the story leading up to my spontaneous heart chakra opening. So the heart chakra is somewhere around here, and I think the word chakra means wheel, because it's like a spinning wheel. Also, usually chakras have triangles. They usually have triangles like upwards triangles or downwards triangles, or there's usually triangles in there somewhere. And, people have seen these energy shapes, like in real time. They can see them, some people. And, so the heart chakra, here it's called the anahata in Sanskrit, anahata. And it means the unstruck sound. So it's like the silent sound of God or something. I don't know, the unstruck sound, I think. It's like the bell that hasn't been rung, but it's still a sound. I don't know. It's interesting. And I think it's green. It's a green light. But when it comes to the colors of the chakras, some people have different opinions of what colors they are. So that part's confusing to me. One guru will say, "Oh, they're these colors, so like they're gray and silver and gold," and then another guru will say they're these colors, and then the general consensus in the West is there's a set of colors. So I don't know how legitimate the color scheme is. But anyway, the general consensus is heart chakra is green. The green ray. Okay, so now let's get into the actual experience. It was pretty wild. It was pretty intense. Very, very, very intense experience. And I was like 18 or 17, maybe 17, 16. I don't know. I was young, late teens. So yeah, so I was doing that Buddhist meditation, maybe 10 minutes a day. Very, very, like, I was basically reading a little bit of spiritual studies and a little bit of meditation, but not much, like basically nothing, pretty much basically nothing. Yeah. Okay, so the experience started with, I had a funny feeling like in my body and my chest. It was like this weird kind of like almost feeling like you're the butterflies in your chest when you feel like you're in love, the weird tingly butterfly feeling in your chest. It felt kind of like that, and I was like, oh, this is weird. But it wasn't that. It was something else, similar but different. And I was like, whatever, this is a weird feeling. I'm going to stick with it and ride it out and see where it goes. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to stick with it. I think at the time I heard this one song. It was called some No Doubt song. It was like, you new feeling, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I heard that song that day and I was like, yeah, I'm going to, this new feeling, I'm going to feel it all the way. I'm going to stick to it and feel it and like meditate on it. And I stuck with it for like, I don't know, half an hour, and then it got more tingly and more strong. And then at some point it opened up into a sort of uncomfortable, sort of scary feeling, which was, I describe it as it felt like a black hole in my chest, like a big black hole. And I don't mean that in a negative sense, because that could be taken negatively. In yogic culture, I think they call it the open sky of the heart, the open sky. So it feels like there's a vast open sky opening up here, and I don't know exactly what that is. I don't know much. Honestly, I don't know much about chakras. I know very, very, very little. I don't know much about opening them, or how to open them, or how to open them safely. All these things I don't know. I am not a chakra teacher in any way, shape, or form. I'm just telling my story of this strange happening, which this strange happening sparked off my kind of started my path on the spiritual journey when I was very young. So the open sky, it felt like a hole, like a void, a massive void where it's like eternity was in there, like a scary eternity void, a black hole, just. And from what I heard, when people feel that type of thing, they go and distract themselves, or they go do something else because it's scary. They're like, oh, they get creeped out and they go do something else. But I was on this mission. I was like, no, I'm gonna ride this out. Like, I'm sticking with it. And by not only sticking with it, but like I'm focusing on it, putting all my energy in there. Just I'm meditating on it. And the void, it like got bigger. It's like expanded more. And I heard that what's happening is kind of like your system is clearing. Your system is clearing out the trauma or negative emotions, negative energies that are kind of stuck on in that area. So it's opening it to blow out the negative energy and traumas. From what I heard, I don't know. I'm not an expert, So I stuck with that and felt this huge void for, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes. And I just stuck with it. And I was like, whoa, this is weird, interesting. And then it kind of like, it dissipated, it exploded, kind of just, it diffused throughout my whole system. And they call that Ananda, which is the bliss, which is like the human system, there's like several sheaths of your body, and one of the last sheaths is the bliss body. So if you can get to the bliss body through meditations or whatever, it's part of your system, you know, and it's very blissful. It's just extremely blissful. So that happened. It kind of dissipated, went through my whole system, and my whole body was tingling and just extremely blissful. And I was just like, whoa, what is this? Like it freaked me out, because this stage freaked me out even more, because I was like, oh, what the hell is this? Just full body buzz, totally tingling. And also had a lot of tears of ecstasy. They say it's called tears of ecstasy. Another interpretation of that is you're clearing negative emotions or traumas. So it's like they're tears. You're in ecstasy, but there are also tears of the clearing of the traumas. But I don't know. That's one interpretation. There might be many others of tears of ecstasy. So there was a lot of that going on, and my body was shaking too. Like I couldn't, like my muscles were, there was some weird, it was like there was extra energy, like it plugged into the wall. Like I was plugged into an energy outlet, and I was like, the energy was making me shake. And I've had other experiences with that too, where you're kind of convulsing a little bit. When you do like hardcore yogic chakra things or initiations, you will get like, it's like you're getting plugged in to an energy circuit. You literally, like, your body's convulsing from the extra energy upgrade. You're like, whoa, you're juiced. You're plugged right into some energy outlet from wherever. Like it's kind of, it's coming from a chakra, or it's coming from reality or God or what, I don't know. But it's like you shake like you stick your finger in a socket. Like you get shocked. You're getting shocked, right? So that was happening too. Oh, there was another thing that happened too. I had a vision. I saw heaven. Like I could just see the clouds, and I can see like kind of like described in the Bible, like different layers of different colors of stone wall up in the heavens, and like sort of like a music that came along with it, like na na na. I don't know what the music was, but you know, it was the brain trying to put an image on what you're feeling inside to try to make sense of it. I think it could be anything. I think that's how people would explain it psychologically, is your brain's trying to figure out what's going on by seeing an image. So I don't think the image was as important as to me at the time. The image wasn't, and even now the image wasn't very important, but it kind of was there, you know. And it's funny too. I think I remember like almost like I haven't told anyone about this experience, or very few people, because it's a weird experience. It's not like something you want to boast about. Like tears of ecstasy. My heart was like a black hole. It's weird, right? But it's, when it comes to opening chakras, they're usually weird experiences, intense, weird experiences. So I've heard. I mean, I don't know a lot about them. But I think I remember briefly mentioning it to my old church, my youth pastor, and he instantly got super defensive and like started accusing me of things like right off the bat. So I didn't actually tell him the whole experience. I just mildly said something like, I had a vision the other day, and he just like attacked me flat out, because I guess I wasn't with the church at the time. And so I didn't tell him the experience at all. Anyway, yeah. So that was the experience, and I just felt totally normal after. It was like it was there. for a couple hours, then it was gone the next day. But what happened was my point of view on spirituality was changed. I was like, whatever that was the most real, most alive experience I've ever had in my entire life. And it was totally different than I've, never experienced anything like that. It was weird, it was new, and it was massive. And from that point on, I was like, I want to figure out like what that was. And at the time, I'd never even heard the word chakra. Never heard. I hadn't even heard it maybe for 5 years after, even 10 years after. That's why I was like, how do I explain this thing, The only religion I was ever exposed to was Christianity at the time. Although within a few years, I started reading all religions. I think within 5 years, I'd read a few hundred books on philosophy and world religions. Not to boast, but I was curious, I was like, what's happening? And I still didn't, get the answers I wanted, because I had to, at the time, the internet wasn't very good. So I got all my books from the library. And some really interesting ones I read, but I can't remember most of it now, of course. And recently, the last few years, I've been getting back into reading books on different cultures and religions, and it's interesting. There's so much good material out there now. It's amazing. Audible is just like amazing. There's so much good material in Audible right now. It's incredible. And I prefer audiobooks, as I'm a bit of a slow reader. So audiobooks are great. I like physical books too, of course. They're amazing. Okay, so that was the led up to the experience, and that was the experience of the heart chakra. Spontaneous opening by itself. It kind of just did this thing by itself, and that was interesting. It put me on a kind of pointed me in a sort of direction of, I got to figure, what is this? Like I remember I looked in the mirror and I was like, could see like tears, and I was like shaking, and I'm like, what the heck? What the hell is this? Whatever this is, I gotta like learn about this and pursue this. This is wild. Anyway, it's an interesting experience. I haven't told many people about it because it's weird. It's weird, right? Okay, so now the next section, I'm going to talk about the possible dangers of opening your chakras. So in Hatha yoga, also known as kundalini yoga, they focus on preparing the body and the energy systems and the chakras and the nadi and what else? Your pranayama, your breathing channels, energy systems and energy channels, and your muscles and your fascia, getting everything ready over several years to be able to bring the energy, the kundalini energy that resides in the lowest chakra and the highest chakra, or one of the highest, not the highest. And you kind of want to bring these energies, bring the one from your crown chakra down slowly and the one from your root chakra up slowly. And you want to have them meet right here in the heart center. And it's like you have a triangle, upwards triangle and a downwards triangle, and they can meet, and then your heart chakra like opens. I don't know much about it, but that's kind of the idea of Hatha yoga or kundalini yoga. It's getting your body ready to strong enough and balanced enough to be able to handle those energies, and stable enough to be able to handle those energies. And by those energies, it's just kundalini energy is just, it's just the primordial life force energy. There's just a bunch of it that resides kind of sleeping here and your crown chakra and your root chakra. And it's like this, it's this energy. I don't know. It's not a special energy that's only there. It's just primordial God energy. But they call it kundalini energy. But I'm sure it has other names too. So the dangers are with different types of yoga or different types of tantra, classical original tantra, not new age tantra. There's always dangers because you're playing with the evolution of your spirit, kind of. You're messing with the evolution of your spirit. You're speeding it up, right? I heard this one guy describe it similar to a car. If a car is going 5 miles an hour, it's not dangerous. But if it's going 100 miles an hour and you hit a speed bump, it could be, bad things could happen. So that's what's happening with your soul, your energy system, when you are really engaging in these practices. You're speeding, right? You're speeding up your evolution of your energies or your spirit. So if anything happens, like say someone steps out into the road and you're speeding, you can't swerve around them and you hit them, like there's all sorts of things can happen when you're speeding in a car, right? Many, many things can happen, many dangers. So it's like that. And so what happens is you have tons and tons of traumas kind of throughout your body. And if you're opening these chakras, your traumas kind of can get released, but too many at a time, too fast for your brain to handle, and your brain can't process them. So you go temporarily kind of crazy a little bit. You can end up in the psych ward or just debilitated, like you can't move your body much. And this can last for a few months, and most people recover. Like, I think I've heard most people recover fine. It's just you're debilitated for a little while. So that's the dangers of taking the spiritual path and taking it seriously and doing practices. And there's another side to that, and that is the swindlers. So in this day and age, there is a ton of new age teachers, writers, people that sell courses online or in person or gatherings. And some of them, they're selling like kundalini awakenings or chakra openings. And the problem with that is they might not be masters of what they're teaching, right? And there's tons and tons and tons and tons of people, even in India and in North America, everywhere, that are kind of just selling kundalini awakenings or chakra openings. And some of it's good, sure. Some of it's solid. Some of it's yoga teachers selling, teaching good stuff. The problem is, though, is this stuff that needs to be handled with care, because it can result in those things that can happen where it debilitates you for a week or a few months. So that's the dangers. So would you want a master guiding you and saying you have to slowly build up your energies, slowly strengthen your stability of your mind and the solidness of your chakras, and slowly grow that stability before you step into more dangerous waters? Because that's what the professionals do, the real guys. They teach, you want to stabilize your system and your chakras and your mind first. Work mostly on that before you go chasing blissful experiences. And there's tons and tons of different types of amazing blissful experiences to be had, but don't chase that. If that's your goal, then it's not a good goal, because you may get some blissful experiences, but they may come and they may go. You might not be able to keep them. And if you do experience them, it might just be slightly light and temporary, like samadhis. samadhi states. I've experienced one amazing, incredible samadhi state that was just out of this world. But that's another story. Anyway, so there's a lot of guys, new age writers that are selling. Oh, and there's a whole nother angle too. A lot of these new age guys, they're forcing the energy through the chakras, up the spine through the chakras, to try to blow out a bunch of traumas and try to do healings, spontaneous healings, and have blissful experiences. The problem is they're forcing something that you should take years to build up the stability and strength to be able to handle that energy. And if you're forcing that energy through the chakras, in a lot of cases, good things happen. People heal traumas, or at least they kind of temporarily heal traumas, and then they're still there later on, because you're just forcing energy through the system. But yeah, the problem is that they're selling spiritual experiences. And some people a lot of people it helps. Most people it helps them. But there's some people that get debilitated from it for a week or a few months, where they can't function at all, completely non-functional, mentally or physically. So I don't know what the percentage is, but it's there. It exists. But it exists in all the worlds. The new age swindlers and the legitimate like gurus and legitimate ashrams. It exists everywhere because it's just part of the process, but it's better to slowly build up your system to be able to handle those energies. Oh, another reason why you want to slowly build up your system to be able to handle these energies is not just so that you don't get really damaged and thrown off, but another key reason is you want to be able to hold on to that blissfulness and to keep producing more of it and living through it and producing more of it, and being able to keep having experiences like that, reproducing the blissful experiences. And you have to your system has to be very, very stable and very strong to be able to reproduce these experiences. Because it's just a ton of energy. It's like an energy explosion. It's like you're sticking your finger in a socket. If you're not ready for it, your system isn't ready for it, it's just going to fry your circuits, right? So 2 main reasons that you want to slowly build up your energies in your chakras and your mental stability and physical, emotional stability. One is there's less possibility of you getting really messed up, and if you do get really messed up, it'll be way shorter. So that's one reason. The other reason is you want to be able to reproduce these blissful experiences and hold on to them longer and enjoy them. Yeah. So there's this one guy, Joe Dispenza. I couldn't remember his name before, but a lot of people really love this guy. I don't want to say negative stuff about him, but he forces the kundalini, specifically the kundalini energy, in his very expensive seminars, weekend retreats, from the root chakra up. Now the problem with that is, what about the balance of bringing the kundalini energy from your crown chakra down at the same time? You need that balance. Everything in the spiritual world is about balance. So you want to balance those two energies, and they come together into the heart chakra, and then your heart explodes in a good way. Yeah. So anyway, that's my experience. If you got anything good on this, like and subscribe. And if you have had any chakra opening experiences, please put them in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. If you've had similar experiences, or your heart chakra or any other chakras opening, or anything that relates to this at all, put it in the comments. I'd love to chat about it, So that's it for now. Have a good day, and namaste.